Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the lion's voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use I as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give all the powers to chant. Jah give all the powers to chant. Ras Tafari, the lion's voice.
This is Mama Thea of Asli Pure, and when I want to hear the story from the lion and the lioness, I listen to Lion Voice with Ras Bonsu.
Greetings, this is Haile. The time has come for the lions to tell their own story. See? This is the lion's voice. Keep it locked, right, sir? Haile said that. Are you satisfied? Wipe those tears from your eyes. I'm all alone, still you thought I was telling a lie. This is the lion's voice. Keep it locked, right, sir?
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the lion's voice.
Yes, job people, this is Michael Shamai representing. I will say, hear the lion voice, saying it is time for the lions and the lionesses to tell their own story. King David killed Goliath with a stone, we original dread.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Ras Tafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice, Ras Tafari.
Alright, listen to me now, people. The lion roar, no dog bark. See? The lion's voice with Kwasi Bonsu. Time right now for the lion to tell his story. See? Listen up.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lion's voice. Now put it, I Jollifer said that.
Yeah, now the time has come for the lion to tell his own story. Yeah, the one them called Celestial I represent for the mighty lion voice. And this a shook up your planet tectonic. As me sip up my roots and tectonic. And you can't make me jump nor get panic. Have the engine a run like mechanic. Room.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to the lion voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Oh, yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.
Ras Tafari, Emperor Selassie the first. Tell the people about Empress Mene. Well, even if the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, but to the coming war we stand tall.
I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start ball, cause they see the city streets them flood. But when the hurricane blow down their wall, I'll be by your side and me now budge. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine and answer I. Your love was a lifeline. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine and answer I. That light was a lifeline. It seems like the world is upside down. I will never hide, I'd rather stand my ground. Lion of Judah blessed with the triple crown. Can't come fool I with no circus clown. Now fear no hurricane or the cyclone. Respect for Mama Earth with that embedded on me bone. That's why I will never leave you alone. Protect you from harm when the alarm sound. So even when the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, to the coming war we stand tall. I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start ball, cause they see their city streets them flood. When the hurricane blow down our wall, I'll be by your side and me now budge. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine and answer I. Your light was a lifeline. I think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine and answer I. Your love was a lifeline. They say hurt people, maybe that's why Babylon them so evil. Maybe Babylon abused as a child. That's why them no like the light when you smile. That's why them no like how your body curve. The way how you dance get on Babylon nerve. Them no know how the Almighty you serve. Want to be a queen so a king you deserve. And
what do you have to tell the people about Ras Tafari?
Light to the world. The king of kings and the conquering line of the tribe of Judah. I left himself. Where's your ruler? Hey yo! Yeah, hear them high, hear the black king born the 23rd of July. So tell them guy who praise God up in the sky, it's a lie. The Almighty living on your night. From ancient time them a try. Them Romans know them just open them suit and ties. Criminals ain't got no alibi, they stole my people. Then them comes without them genocide.
Are you talking about slavery?
Them couldn't kill the lion where come conquer Judah tribe. Go through tribulation, and I strive, see sufferation, and I still rise. That's why we tell them in America, live Ras Tafari in every ghetto area. We come to tell them in a Toronto, straight at
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie the First. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bonsu, aka DejazmatchKwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man, the creative industry attorney. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Lion's Voice. Welcome to Lion's Voice and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lions are telling our own story. Today's episode, we are going to be reasoning on goal setting. We're going to be reasoning about heaven on earth, this concept. Right now, we have a terrible hurricane disaster in Jamaica. We have war around the globe, instability, economic crisis here in America, hard times, all around. we have to be super focused now on what is our goal in the midst. We don't want to be just reacting to every crisis, every disaster, everything, and we're just a spin because we're reacting to everything and we don't have a goal that we are working to that's going to alleviate and allow I and I to rise above, some of these disasters, to plan, what I mean, so that we're not just responding, but we are actively preparing, rising to the occasion. So right now, in the midst of the disaster, in the midst of the struggle, in the midst of all of the tribulation that's happening globally, is the time for us to focus on what is our goal as Rastafari, as a young Ras coming into this field. We were taught by our elders that the goal was Zion, and by Zion, they were referring to heaven on earth. And, it was always emphasized in the Bingyo that heaven is not up in the sky. And then, you listen some of the early music, what I mean. I was just iting upon Dreamland, Bunny Wailer, what I mean. When he's talking about Dreamland and he's talking about nature, we'll get our honey from the bee, we get our breakfast from the tree, all them something there. And then now you look at most people think great heaven is under the earth. You know what I mean? This was Get Up, Stand Up, famous lyrics when you talk about this concept of heaven on earth or Zion on earth. And what I want to do tonight with the global family, with the Lion Pride, is have a reasoning. We have to define this concept. We have to make it real. Because if it's not real, we'll never achieve it. If we don't work toward it, if we don't set it as a goal, and actively plan and work toward it, then we'll never achieve it. So I want us to, tonight's episode, I want us to really go into this concept. And you see, I have a series called The Road to Heaven on Earth that details the 3 historic events I attended in Ghana, West Africa, at the Kwaku Ando Sustainability Institute. I'm editing all of that together right now. Episode 1 is up, it's doing well. Over 2,000 views. So big up everyone who has seen the Road to Heaven on Earth series, part 1. We're working on part 2, and we're going to have many different parts just detailing. I documented the journey to an actual proof of concept that heaven can be on the earth. And what I want to do is we have to dispel the mythology. We're going to look at the definition of heaven. We're going to break down everything the way we like to do it here on the Lion Voice Network. So get your ital snacks, get your meditation right, because tonight we're talking about heaven on earth. What is the destination for Rastafari? And I'm going to show that His Majesty Kadamawi Haile Selassie I himself, spoke about Africa's future in that terminology, So we always want to have some sources and foundation. Anything we deal with in Rastafari, if it's not, the foundation is not Kadamawi Haile Selassie I, it's a man opinion. But if you're on this chart called Rastafari, you can be Pan-African and disagree and all of these things, But if you're on this chart of Rastafari and you submit yourself to that Divine order, Melchizedek order, His Majesty as the lawgiver, the highest supreme authority. For those who ascribe to that philosophy, everything that we talk about in terms of fundamental to the movement have to be grounded in Kadamawi Haile Selassie I, And if it's not, it's neither here nor there. It can come, it can go. It can, because everything right now to I is on the chopping block. If it's not working for I and I, we have to leave these things. We can't get too attached to tradition and custom right now, because some of these tradition and custom hurt us. His Majesty, when he came to the throne, had to change a lot of Asian traditions that were there in the law. in Ethiopia, they used to chop off a thief hand. And his mind said to stop that because a man can change, and now you have all of these mutilated people in the society who have only one hand. So His Majesty, within his wisdom, say yes, thieving is wrong, and we want dispel thieving, but make we just by law legislate that we're not chopping off people's hands again. These were ancient punishment in Ethiopia. So that shows us we can evolve, we can change, we can rise to see what serves us in this time while still observing the ancient landmark. And this is why it has to be grounded in Ethiopia, Haile Selassie the First, the unconquered foundation and genealogy. We stay right there. So with it, as Rastafari. Now I have Pan-African listeners and followers, and I big them up every time. I don't know, for the Pan-African, of course, they want a liberated, united, and prosperous Africa, which to us is that heaven on earth, you know what I mean? So this is why I say we have to define heaven on earth. When some people hear heaven, they might wait for go under the ground, for see that, When some people say heaven, they're thinking about clouds and pearly gates and all them something there. We are not talking about that with heaven. And also, what we also want to illustrate is that when we say heaven on earth, we're not talking about a place free of challenges, because really and truly, if you're in a place and there's no challenges, there's nothing that's causing the eye to grow, are you really going to be joyful? You know what I mean? Because the joy come by the overcoming, that's the true joy, the inner joy, when you demonstrate that competence and you feel good about yourself. How do you feel good about yourself if you're not confronting challenges and overcoming them as a man or as a woman? We have to ask ourselves these questions. So our concept of heaven doesn't mean without challenges. So I don't want to, when we talk about the Quaker Ando Sustainability Institute, I don't want to paint the picture like we don't have challenges there with things that come up day to day that has to be solved. So I want to just make that clear. When we're talking about heaven on earth, we're talking very real. But the joy that is there from the overcoming, it's not challenges that are life-threatening, even though they can be, because we have poisonous snakes on the land, and if you get bitten by a snake, you can lose your life on Mama Africa, you know what I mean? And it's 4 hours outside of Accra. So that is also a reality in our heaven on earth, is that you still must be vigilant. You still have to have your wits about you, and you still have to know what you're doing. You know what I mean? However, within that context, day to day is a joy, and it's an evolution. So the last time I was at the Kwaku Ando Sustainability Institute was in 2022, and when I went this time, there was so much improvements. The trees that I left as saplings were now actual food forests, you know what I mean? And some of them start bearing fruit. These are the things now that are heavenly. When you see a tree bear fruit, when you plant something and then you come forward and be able to sip from what you planted, those things are heavenly, you know what I mean? It makes you feel that strength. You know what I mean? So when we talk about heaven on earth, tonight we are going to define it definitively. This is our goal. Now, before we get into the episode, I do have some Hurricane Melissa updates. We have been working with the family. Big up to the RMO, the Rastafari Mansion and Organization, all the other Rastafari entities that are raising funds, and I have been girls. I've seen texts. This is all hands on deck right now. So if you're watching and you can support, we want to please just implore everyone who can to go to the GoFundMe. I think you can scan the QR code. I also have it on the community tab that you can give some contribution. Ras Roots, big up yourself. I see that there I did contribute on the GoFundMe. Lion Pride, I'm asking, even if you don't support this channel financially, go and support the ones. I'm going to show some images and Ones I've started to send footage, and I've put out the call for one. So we're gonna, long after this is off of the press front page and people forget about Jamaica, we on the Lion Voice Network are going to be broadcasting, fundraising, helping to bring awareness, because this is gonna take years to fix. I just heard an update from School of Vision, Rastafari School of Vision. Big up Honorable Priest Fagan, Dermot Fagan. They lost the road going up there, and they're saying that the soldiers are saying it might take 2 years to fix. These are some mountain terrain, and some, I was looking at a picture of a community, and the road just drop off a cliff, the whole hillside, and then you look down and you see the road where it connect back, I mean, the whole hillside gone. So this is a life-changing event. So if you can support, and as I said, if it's not RMO, whatever you feel comfortable, but just know that the ones them need that strength right now. It's serious. Big up to Bongo James of the International Peacemaker of E.W.F, who we had on our program Wednesday. If you haven't seen the Wednesday, we did our first official Hurricane Melissa update, and I have a video from Bongo James dropping off assistance to House of Seba. We're going to play that right now. So just let's take some time and see Bongo James right away after reasoning, organized, RMO, Sister Samantha from School of Vision, some other ones came together. Big up Ras Simba of House of Dread. Ones are going out, they're doing mapping, trying to identify the ones. So works are happening, and I know the Naya Bing girls is doing the same. I can imagine 12 Tribe, Bobo Shanti do the same. Everyone is doing works. What we're trying to do now is coordinated. And as I said, I'm going to use this platform to highlight some of the great works, because I saw someone in the comments earlier, Brethren say, where is Rastafari during this hurricane crisis? And remember, we don't have a lot of Rastafari independent non-aligned media. I am stepping into the gap. So we don't know what Rastafari is doing if we don't see, if we don't have we want things, and then we start to believe that we not do nothing. And then we start to cuss with one another instead of we say, you know what, Brethren went out, put up his own money. Because right now that's what's happening. The GoFundMe is just launched. RMO ones are going in their own pocket, ones are sending from overseas, and they're going out to do the work. So we would think that nothing is happening and not realize that we are a loving people and we are working. So let's just look at what Bongo James and RMO family are doing.
Engagement
Here.
involving the centers.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, this is House of Seba right here. Just coming from trying to get to from Ayakucho. We are now back here. This is the devastation that we are redeeming from. But it's not a pity party for us. House of Seba, not a pity party, but it's a reality nonetheless. But we are in rebuilding mode. Just spoke with brothers Spicer, and also give a donation to as well, because we have the elders them who are here, who need food supply. Yes, we need the building supplies, because as Ras Spicer say, if we can stabilize the minds of ones and ones to have a home, then they can more participate in the recovery effort on a collective basis. And that makes sense. Once a man know if you put him food, put him clothes where him get as donation, then him gonna know how to participate in whatever collective engagement involving the centers, involving the various, So it is important that we try and really, get ones and ones in a stable position as quickly as possible, so that they can be able to, with all good conscience, participate in the collective efforts that we have to you know, rise again, as you would say. Greetings, my brother. We're passing through. Just start to Brother Spice a while ago. Yeah. Same way, brother. As is okay.
Resilience and love for His Majesty.
Keep the ways. That now you see there, to keep the ways of the Emperor Haile Selassie, movements and his ways. And I have his ways and the ways of the Christ enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So I have to practice his Father way because for I 199 and say if I now live good on the land, it will destroy our food, our children, and all these things. Disobedient. You remember the circle they got M's. Seeing the M's, that is say I wear M's like first. Seeing from the M of the garment blue. That's why police wear blue. That I see because blue is a power in him. That I see so to feel it to remind the eye of his commandment. But the latter one now practice that. That I see so that's why the Father have to show and I in his own way that he is the I am forever and forever. See between I and I, his people. That I see so
and you know, say when you catch it the right way, it's like that sun coming over the hill, you know. It's it a brightness in your spirit, you know, when you catch it, you know. It's when you catch it, the commandment no longer feel like a rebuke, but a comfort.
Yeah, because the Father said, man shall not be the covered ark of the covenant upon his shoulder no more, but his heart and his heart. So that put the presence of God in the eye. Because said you have to worship the true and living God, you know. The Father, the first. Also David, they can't serve no other gods. But in that I see can know him children say I have lost none of my children. That I see because the one people, you know. Then just let us go and see what they do, the Tower of Babel. But no nation different from no other. Because everyone use the bathroom, everyone.
So you see in the background there, in the foreground there, the devastation. House of Seba was a vibrant space. They had stage, you know, full setup, you know what I mean, accommodation for the Asians. Ras Jabali's been on this program many times. We had Ras Splice, although we had some Wi-Fi issue. They help the community, and you can see devastation. So this is not going to be a short term. And also Seba has individual. The RMO is the umbrella, but each member may have their own fundraising, and we should not make this be a conflict or make it seem anyway, because someone's may want to give immediately to a specific, and then we still have the overall effort, you know, the collective effort that one's internationally also can give to. So it's all hands on deck right now, family. So again, I'm just encouraging I'm going to play another short clip. Ross James and Sister Samantha and the family made it to Pit 4 Nyabingi Center after dark, distributing. So when people are asking, what is Ras Tafari doing? We tell them something like this.
We're at Pit 4 and we are doing some handing outs here now. Ones and ones who are here.
Low lighting. This is from this evening, family. So this is hot off the press. So they're distributing care packages, is what you're seeing there at Pit 4 Nyabingi Center after traveling to House of Seba. That footage is also from today. So ones are going out, touching base, trying to collect information so that packages, care packages, food, and this is, when we say care packages, basic things. People need food, you know what I mean? Farms have been decimated, so there's no food around. The price of food is going up tremendously, and a lot of the government issued care package might be a bully beef, a tin mackerel, things that we don't eat. You know what I mean? A lot of it is coming. A lot of I and I too don't really trust some of these things coming from Uncle Sam and different places. Ones have concern if chemicals are in the food, sterilization, wagwan, you know what I mean? We as Rastafari are always skeptical. But that leads us to a bigger concern, which is in the months to come now that the farms have been, St. Elizabeth is the breadbasket. Westmoreland, these places, whole heap of food grow in these places. So now that these places and these farms have been destroyed, food is going to become a major issue. And I reasoned with one of my good brethren who's a farmer, and he said, and he lives in St. Elizabeth, and he said that a lot of the food that's going in the ground right now is full of chemicals because they want the food to come quick. So the farmers, them put things in the ground, and if they must spray with the miracle growth, with the glyphosate, if it's 1 quart, now a 2 quart I got use because they don't miss nothing. You know what I mean? So it's even the food when it comes, a lot of the food that's going to be available in the market, even though it look ital, it can be killer. So we as Rastafari, this is now, you heard us talking about food sovereignty months before this happened. And I went to Ghana, the whole topic was black food sovereignty, Rastafari food sovereignty. And now look there, we come and confront the issue of food sovereignty and the difference between food security. Food security just means that you have access, consistent access. Sovereignty means you control the process and have ownership from the seed to the table, to your belly. So that's all aspects of the supply chain, from the genetics and the heirloom seeds, to the planting, to the harvest, to the post-harvest, to the storage, to the aggregation, to the distribution, to the retail, and then end consumer. So that means that Rastafari is supposed to control all of that as it relates to ITAL. And this now bring this into stark reality, because we were here planning these things now and the thing liquid in our face. Food is going to be critical for the survival. This is what the ones them need more than anything right now. So again, right now we're just doing some ad hoc type of relief, meaning ones are going in their pocket, ones are sending Western Union, Zelle, all kind of ways to get money in, so that ones can go, to the places, purchase in bulk, create care packages, and then take it out to ones. And big up, I'm in a couple of groups, Rastafari groups, and the work is happening. So for ones who question what Rastafari is doing, Rastafari is mobilizing. The mapping that we wanted to do for so long, is happening, where yes, Bongo such and such is over, so this one is over, so, and in down a roof, so a spreadsheet is being created through the RMO. And big up Empress Samantha, the RMO administrator from the School of Vision, who has been working and doing a fantastic job, representing from an administrative aspect. Big up Ras Wooley, also representing within the secretariat. These ones have been working. So it's not widely publicized, but I'm here to let the global family know, so that we don't have reasoning, because I had to take time today and respond to just ones leaking out against the RMO and thing, and we need all hands on deck. So I just want to make sure that we're bringing credible information, because when one's don't hear, then narratives can just run wild, and we want to destroy these narratives. Now, could we do more? That is a question. Of course we could do more. Now, were we ready for this disaster? That is another question that we have to ask ourselves. And if we're honest, the answer is no. So when these things happen, we have to look at them from a broad perspective. And as the Rastafari independent non-aligned media, I'm going to mash some cons sometime, because we have to question ourselves. We love to say things irie and yeah man, I mean man, we were there ever ready, but we're not ever ready, my family, because we should have had a mapping already done. We should know where our people are. We should have supplies, emergency supplies, because why? We live in a hurricane zone. It's not yesterday that hurricane started coming Jamaica. So when we live in a hurricane zone as a immunity, we're supposed to prepare for hurricanes. So we were not ready, and I want us to be very honest as we address the fullness. Also, you heard the Nyabingi elder when Bongo James go check the elder. The elder says a judgment, and that is one thing that distinguishes the Nyabingi house. Anytime something like this happen, we are gonna go to judgment first and say what we are do, how this judgment come down upon we. You know what I mean? And we're gonna look at it that way. Some people don't like that about Nyabingi because we, you know what I mean, give it some time. People are hurting and it's not everything is a judgment. But for I and I, that's how we look on it, you know what I mean, as Naya Big warriors. And so we have to look, and one of the things that has to be evident to I and I riding that Ivine frequency is repatriation is a must. So repatriation to I is tied into this concept of heaven on earth. And what we are going to Africa to do is to manifest that heaven on earth. So we're not going to Africa to recreate Babylon or recreate the Western colonial Westminster system. We're going there to create a new reality. We're going to Africa to create. And Jamaica, let me be clear. Let me be clear with the idea. We're not giving up the Caribbean and CARICOM. From they declare these as the sixth region of Africa to they become part of I and I global possession as Africans, global Africans. So we never, the elders used to say we can't give up a continent for the island, and it still apply. We're not giving up Jamaica though. We're gonna maintain these spaces as predominant African spaces. However, and when the hurricane come, I was reasoning with one of my good brethren, and him said, we are just a small rock in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. You know, these hurricanes wake you up to that reality, how vulnerable you are. You know what I mean? When a massive hurricane can just come and wipe away everything that you work for, that you have done. You have nowhere. It's not a continent, a huge, monstrous land space where say, them thing there can come sweep you away upon the continent, depending on where you are, because you have rains and flooding and things. But in terms of hurricane, you know what I mean? So we have to understand not everyone can sustain on these islands, a large portion of I, and there will be certain battlefield angels that will stay and hold these territories, because we're getting ready for a major war, it look like, in the Caribbean Sea as well. We have to be aware. One of the largest battleship groups in the United States Army is now parked in the Caribbean Sea, in anticipation of this potential invasion of Venezuela. Venezuela has said that if they are attacked, they are going to attack Trinidad. And we have a lot of family in Trinidad. America, I think, has soldiers stationed in Trinidad. So this thing is going to impact I. And in Venezuela, I hear Trump also talking about Colombia, and he's also talking about Mexico. So the whole Western region, as America consolidate its power within in the Western region, we can anticipate a lot of destabilization, interruption in the shipping lanes, and what I heard is that Jamaica import about 90% of its food. So if it's importing 90% of the food is not reaching the people. The farms have been wiped up. What does that look like? It look like a refugee situation. And big up Elder Ras Aigi, I heard on a voice note as well, calling for the AU to get involved, calling for the ones who have been impacted to be recognized within a refugee status and given provision to return home, the ones who, because let's be real, at the same time, and you know, reason with one of my Naya being elder sister, and she shared with her, a lot of ones don't have the means, you know. Yes, the Dejazmatch there, you can go up on a plane and go to Ghana and you can talk about repatriation and you go there, so I'll go buy land. But what about those who don't have the economic ability? And we have to be sensitive to that. But I think that this hurricane disaster has to now help us to refocus as Rastafari on our core mission and tenets. And part of that mission is repatriation. And this is why I bringing up this concept of heaven on earth, because we cannot go home with the anticipation to recreate poverty. We cannot go home to recreate capitalism and this whole, we've seen the problems that modern societies are facing. We have to return to our African fullness, to that Edenic promise. You know what I mean? The earth is the I am and the fullness thereof, the world and I that dwell therein. We have to return to that foundation, family. If you're watching live, please let us know where you're watching from in the comments. Check in our Lion Pride, big up on yourself. We're talking about heaven on earth. What is the concept? What are we dealing with when we talk about heaven on earth? Is a very serious thing. I want to pull up a definition. I want to pull up a definition so we can get into the reasoning. Again, please put in your where you're watching from. Let us check in. Big up all of the Lion Pride them. All right. So when we say heaven, everyone can see the screen. I just hold on. Let me take this down.
This is Warrior King.
Hold on. I don't have the Queen. The Queen is doing some work tonight. So anytime you see the whole heap of mistakes, you know it's Iman at the control. When the Queen is at the control, of pure niceness. And I mean, this is a family business, so give thanks for your patience, family. But this is Iman at the control. All right. So let's read the definition of heaven. This is AI generated, so you know it's pulling from all over the internet the different definitions and putting it into a concise kind of definition. So it says heaven is a supernatural or religious concept often described as a dwelling place of deities. And I want to look up that word there, deities, angels. We know angel means messenger, and the souls of the blessed dead. It is frequently envisioned as a place of ultimate peace and joy. Though the specific nature varies across religions, sometimes referring to God's throne, the spiritual realm, or even physical universe in a non-religious sense, heaven can also mean the state of great happiness or bliss. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section. You know what I mean? Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm going to continue here. And this is important because when we use the term heaven on earth on this channel, or Sion on earth, or Zion, we want to be clear. We're not talking about God die and then you float up into the clouds. That's not what we're talking about over here. So we want to just define what the common thing is, and then we're going to go into what our concept as Rastafari is as taught by the Asians, as taught by His Majesty. A religious dwelling place. In many faiths, heaven is the abode of God or gods and is populated by angels and other celestial or venerated beings. For example, in Christianity, it is the location of God's throne and the place where the saints and the righteous dead reside. So, if we look at that from a Rastafari perspective, where is God's throne? Where's the Almighty throne? The Almighty's throne is in Addis Ababa. So Africa right away fit into that definition. And the saints would be the sons and daughters, the righteous, the Pan-African greats, ones who fight, Ibrahim Traore with them man there, a saint, but also the ancestors, we have to talk about Thomas Sankara, them man, they are saint, these ones who, and they live, So when we talk about the righteous dead reside, they reside within I and I thoughts, or we keep them alive within the history, the culture, So we can adapt some of these concepts to our definition of heaven, There's nothing wrong with the Almighty's throne being the dwelling place. I agree, because we know the throne is Addis Ababa. There's nothing wrong with it being a place where the saints them are, because I agree, but we define saints by the ones them who do that righteous works. And the righteous dead, those who are no longer with us, the Marcus Garveys, the Malcolm X, the Martin Luther King, all of these ones still live, and the W.E. Du Bois and all these ones whose memory I keep alive, the righteous dead, Marcus Garvey, and then now the spiritual state of being. So that's the definition of heaven as a religious dwelling place. So our definition, which is Mama Africa, unfettered by colonialism or white supremacy or slavery, would be that heaven would fit that definition. Spiritual state of being. Heaven is also understood as a state of being characterized by freedom from pain, suffering, and strife, and a state of perfect contentment and communion with the divine. So, one of the things that I found profound as a young Ras coming into the trad was, that once call your thoughts your heavens. You come to the Nyabingios and we reason, and they would talk about riding the heavens or riding, get your heavens together, And what they're talking about is your thoughts. So that shows that Rastafari have acute awareness that heavenly state start within. You have to have that inner peace inside to manifest it outside. That's why they say, like, when you're trying to get your life together, the first thing you have to do as a man or a woman is clean your room. If you feel like you're in a rut, clean your space around you. That's where you start, because you start to control the things that you can control. Sometimes you feel like nothing's not going right around your vibration, everything is off. Just start by cleaning your space, get it spotless. And that discipline, that manifesting that calm within you, it start manifest around you. So you can always tell what's going on with a person when you look at their space, because if it's cluttered, then they have a cluttered mind. If everything is ordered, that's how they function. So we always had a intuition as Rastafari, coming from our Asians, that the heavens was your thoughts, your internal. So it's not just, because you can go to Africa, you can have every eco-friendly thing, and you still go there, mix up in a whoredom, you still go fight you one another, you know what I mean? You thief, you murder, you rob, but you have all of the accoutrement or material things. So heaven there have to be an internal element to heaven on earth. And it starts internally. It starts with identifying that divinity within yourself. Again, the concept of I and I. When I say I and I, is one of the most profound things on the planet. Rastafari touch upon, because I is recognizing there's no me and you, there's no difference. The divinity in I is recognizing the I divinity in I. I'm speaking to the creator in the I, and the creator is in I. So it's one I, but we communicating I and I. You know what I mean? So that concept again show you that awareness that heaven is a place internal. It starts internal before it manifests external. So again, heaven as a spiritual state of being, heaven is understood. So far, our definition of heaven on earth, it fits into a religious dwelling place, because a lot of people say Rastafari is not a religion. A lot of people treat it as a religion. Most people would agree it's a way of life, but you do have the ones in Rastafari that are churchical, and the churchical Rastafari should not be maligned. The same way like the other man, them don't want people trouble them with how they are manifesting Rastafari. And tomorrow we have a special episode with a brethren from South Africa who has adopted as his own kind of Chad interpretation of how him Chad Rastafari, they call it Melchizedek order. He is Empress Sipokazi's kingman. So we're going to be talking to him about the differences in South Africa and how because then they're, a lot of them are rejecting the Judeo-Christian interpretation of Rastafari and bringing their own interpretation. And Field Marshal General Tau came up with a very good point. He said, if every knee shall bow and every tongue confess, then how can we say that, if every knee shall bow and every tongue confess, how can we be angry when non-Christians hail the king and profess his divinity? We cannot be upset. Everyone are going to hail him, representatives from everyone are going to hail him. So we cannot be upset. It's a fulfillment. We should be glad, because not just ones who see the king one way, is everyone will find them way to the king through their own routing. So we should be glad. You know what I mean? So very important when we look at this concept, But so far, the Rastafari definition of heaven on earth, or conception of heaven on earth, fit as a religious dwelling place. Because for many people, Ethiopia, Africa, and when we say Ethiopia, we're talking about the entire continent of Africa. For those who are not familiar with Rastafari philosophy, we view the whole continent as Ethiopia, land of the burnt face, land of the black, you know what I mean? And there's a reason why His Majesty chose to call it Ethiopia, not Abyssinia, as it was widely known in the international spheres. His Majesty stamped that, make sure it's Ethiopia, which he knew extended far beyond the current nation state borders of current day Ethiopia. The concept of Ethiopia in Asian history spanned, the Atlantic Ocean was the Ethiopian Sea. So that is the concept we have as Rastafari. So when we say Ethiopia, we mean the whole continent. So when we look at the religious dwelling place definition, in many faiths, heaven is the abode of God or gods, and is populated by the angels and other celestial and venerated beings. That makes sense to I. And remember that Ethiopia is the keeper of the esoteric knowledge. When you read the book of Enoch and you read about the watchers, you read about the celestial beings, I mean, you can choose to believe in that or not. You can choose to call it esoteric knowledge. When you get into all of these secret societies and these people, I them think the people then guard, those history, the Anunnaki. If you go by the Sumerian text, every faith have these beings, these celestial beings. So Africa, full of that, you know what I mean? Every African tradition speak about celestial beings or venerated beings, you know what I mean? Whether it's the Orisha or whatever you want to call them, every African tradition, whether it's Kemet, whether it's you know what I mean, all of them. So that celestial being argument, it cuts right across. So you want to believe it or not, there's levels to everything. We leave it right there, so we don't need to go right there. But just know that Africa is a place like that. For example, in Christianity, it is the house of the Almighty's throne and the place where the saints and the righteous dead reside. So Africa can fit that because the ancestor place of angels, and messengers, place of the throne of the Almighty. So they can fit that. The next definition, spiritual state of being. Heaven is also understood as a state of being characterized by freedom from pain, suffering, and strife, state of perfect contentment and communion with the divine. That's Rastafari, who go through great tribulation and still have that internal joy, coming from the Dongo Bakawal, which was a literal dumb site. I reason with the elders, and a lot of people don't know rat and roach and them thing they used to be a Bakawal, pig, hog, and swine, garbage. And the man them clean up part of the place and put up them tattoo on them place and sweep up them floor until you could eat off of the floor out the place them clean. Royalty in the midst of degradation. And why were they there? This is after the destruction of Pinnacle, because that was the one place people would leave them alone because nobody's going around at the dump to trouble the rest them. So this child is coming out of some Gideon place, you know what I mean? But the man them had a joy. The man them had a thing that shook the whole world, that rocked the whole world. You know what I mean? Take this thing around the whole world, Rastafari, without firing a shot. The joy, the message, the music, the sound, you know what I mean? Carried around. So when you talk about that, that is that heaven internal that's carried by I and I. And then you have the cosmological concept. In a broader sense, heaven can refer to a physical universe, the sky, the expanse of space containing the stars and the galaxies. And for I and I as Rastafari, a big up Honorable Priest Isaac, who deals with the astronomy and the astrology, from a ancient African perspective or Ethiopic perspective. And we know from His Majesty's birth story that Ethiopia, they'd had astrologers and astronomers, people who studied the stars, and His Majesty's birth was foretold, some of that too. So that concept is also consistent with our heaven on earth, because our heaven on earth is not just us having that internal, it's not just us creating that heavenly space in terms of a space with no garbage, eco-friendly, sustainable, fruitful, food and ital. It's not just creating that, but it also extends to the solar system, because our youths them are going to be scientists. So we will chart the stars, and again, there's no limit to what I and I conceive and can achieve, So ones may travel the stars. We definitely are going to need to put up some satellites, so we are going to need ones, because we can't just depend on Elon Musk and Starlink, and we're not going to quit with Jalink or with Rastafari Link satellite to have our own Wi-Fi, our own vibration. If we're not thinking like that, big up Rastafari TV, big up Sister Fanai, technological sister who always tell I, we have to have our own servers, We have to have our own servers, in terms of computer warehouses, we're storing our own thing. This is what true sovereignty, true independence, true self-determination looks like. So we are on a road, and this is why I said the road to heaven on earth, because we're not reached there so yet. We have the ability to manifest this heavenly kingdom on earth from limited spaces of time. When you go a Rastafari event, you go a Nyabingi, you go any Rastafari event, and you feel the energy is heavenly, but we can't sustain it. Man have to go work, You know what I mean? Things have to go on, so we can't sustain. We have not been able to make that our reality. You know, a rich man in Babylon, even living rich man reality all day, every day, when we wake up. You know what I mean? In doing wickedness, and it's sustaining. We have not been able to live our fullness with Chad communally and sustain it. You know what I mean? We can only manifest it for short time. So this is what we have to work on, is coming together and creating that reality and sustaining it. Big up School of Vision, where I've come close, you know, in terms of having their own village where they're up in the mountain and they don't really need. But even School of Vision, we're going to be sharing some information about School of Vision. They're in serious condition because they're cut off. To get food up there and haul it up there, they have to walk hours now where they could you bring up the road. So, you know, these are things that we have to understand when we're talking about heaven on earth, is the reality of being able to manifest and maintain and sustain that heavenly state, that heavenly reality, you know, and that comes with the self-determination and the food sovereignty. Figurative usage. The term is also used metaphorically to describe a place or condition of utmost happiness and something very pleasant, such as a week of sheer heaven. And again, I experienced that at Kwasi in Ghana. I recorded that. I'm going to be sharing it. But I experienced that heaven where we had some of the greatest minds of agriculture, black food, systems together in one space, and we are reason, and we get the best ital vegan food. You know what I mean? We're doing excursions with plant. Man, it was heaven. But again, how long can it last? So this concept of heaven on earth has to be the goal for us as we transition out of the colonial period, out of the, you know, we're watching the fall of Western colonialism, the collapse in real time. And at the same time, as we watch that collapse again, we're confronting natural disasters, everything that the prophecy said would be happening, you know. So to I, as a young Ras, 20 years plus, treading this field, and I look around, I smile sometimes because every single something when my elders, when I came into this church, said what is going to happen is happening simultaneously, you know. And give thanks. I'm on feel that they had prepared I for this time, and we are living up. Now things could be better, you know what I mean? Financially, we're making great sacrifices to try rise up the media right now. But this was the work that we were called to do in this hour, because no one else can do it like I and I doing it. And this is our power. And for all of our brethren them and the sister them, this is the time for us to identify what is your purpose, you know what I mean, and lean in, even though it might be a rocky road to achieve your purpose. This is not the time to be going half in. I had to make tremendous sacrifice to rise up the media. I'm not taking any clients right now, any of my creative industry clients. I had some big clients I had to let go, you know what I mean, so I can focus, because when you're doing that type of legal work, because I still survive off of my law degree, give thanks. But when you do that type of legal work, when you're working with these kind of clients and things, it takes a lot of time. I wouldn't have the time to be doing these lives and things. But because I'm called to fill the gap at this hour, I'm going all in, because we have to have our own story told. We have to have our own narrative. You know what I mean? If we don't have that, then what are we doing? Are we serious people? Are we adult people? We're serious about what we are doing and what we represent in the earth? Or, you know, if we are relying on other ones to tell our story, and if we're presenting our story and we're not presenting it as a global story, which what we try to do here, bring voices from all over the world. We don't just stay in Jamaica. We don't just have races from America, diaspora, chat to itself, and I go on like say, Ras Tafari is not all over the continent. No, we have to, and because I've traveled there and I know the ones then, and I know the reality from my coming to the chart, I had to be the one to rise up this media in this way. There are other platforms and big them up. Everyone has their lane, everybody's bringing something to the table. And that's why you hear me always big up. You're not going to hear any sound of division on this platform. I might block some truth and rights and it might mash a con sometimes. But I'm always for the unity here. That's why we say we're not aligned, even though I'm a Naya Bingy man. None aligned. We bring voices from all over. All if them don't agree with I, all if I don't see what them talking about, we bring them on and make them block them sound so that the family can have a voice. So that is what's key. And right now, the other part of heaven on earth is that everyone in heaven on earth is on their purpose. That's what makes it so joyful. Have you ever been around people who are passionate about what they're doing and they're good at what they do? It's a big difference working in that environment than to be with people who are just doing a job because they're a hustle and they're try to get somewhere and them just do a thing. That's a totally different manifestation. So as Rastafari, to manifest our heaven, everyone has to be in their purpose. So right now, it's all hands on deck. If you are a carpenter and cutting wood and shape wood make you feel nice, and that you feel do right now, you know what I mean? Lean into that, become the best at that. If you're a plumber and when you open up a pipe, you feel nice because that you do. That you feel do. You know what I mean? If you're a tiler, if you're a doctor, same thing apply. Do what brings you that joy. Right now, we have to lean it because the Most High is going to put it on everyone's heart to fill a gap. And when we put those puzzles together, that is also a key part of heaven on earth. And if you're just joining us, let us know where you are calling in from. We're going to go through some comments. We want this to be a reasoning. So if you have any sound, put your comments in the comment section. Make we have the reasoning. All right, let's look at what's this here. Let me clean off my glass then because we get to that age where we need the glasses, you know what I mean? All right, so it's a Haile Selassie, Blessed Sabbath, Kings and Queens, Lion Vice, Natty Reed, big up yourself. Let us know where you're calling in from, Natty Reed. Ras Roots, big up yourself, blessed. Give thanks to His and Her Majesty's name, Jah Rastafari, Ras Roots. We need both 100 Ras Roots on the platform. I tell you, big up yourself, Ras Roots. Where is the Rastafari during the hurricane crisis? We showed the video. We'll show it again for those who are joining us. We did show some updates from House of Seba and some distribution taking place at Pit 4 today. And we are going to be showcasing footage from Jamaica. Probably we'll start all of our episodes. I'm starting to get one sending I footage. So as I said, long after this is off of the mainstream media platform, we'll be showcasing the efforts of Rastafari in Jamaica and what's happening. Because this is going to be years recovery. And as Rastafari media is our job. Ras Benji said, when it comes to the phrase heaven on earth, both the Lord's prayer and Revelation 21 come to my mind. Blessed to the lion pride. Okay. Yes, the Lord's prayer. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. So liberty is just talking about liberty, and talking about that heavenly. So what's in the heavens, what's in your mind manifests in a physical, or what's in the celestial realm beyond the stars, manifesting physical. So yeah, man, give thanks, and we probably go read Revelation 21 before the episode seal. Give thanks for the update, Bongo James. True that. Blessing, blessing. Give thanks to see uh, many reggae activists over here in Europe fundraising for relief funds. God bless these efforts of solidarity. Yes, and big up all of the artists who are coming together, who are doing concerts, and no concerts are happening. Let this be a time of unity. Let us not be divisive. The whole Jamaica need help. It's really one of them type of crisis. There's some big up everyone working for the greater good, you know. Blessings and maximum respect to those helping on the ground. The rebuilding will be a marathon extending past the next hurricane season, and we pray that Jamaica don't get hit this coming hurricane season. But he's right. I was thinking about that. Switzerland has all its bunkers in the mountains. Jamaica will need concrete structures. But what? But who would pay for that? And we're talking about that, Bongo James. And I had that reasoning. I know he's, do we need some storage in the side of the mountain? Some concrete structure where when the hurricane is coming, the Rastafari community can move all of its assets into these bunkers. Reinforce greenhouses so that the agricultural production is spared. Industrial type greenhouses that can withstand hurricane force winds, or they're designed to withstand hurricane force winds. I saw there's a viral video of a man that built a goat pen, and the goat pen still stand up, can use screws and nuts and bolts, and his goat pen survives. So making sure that we have the best engineers when we rebuild, that we rebuild for a category 5 standard. So we have storage where we can store our fruits and vegetables and them thing they here. Yes, I don't know. Investing in rebuilding again and again, only for hurricanes to lick it down every season, or investing in Africa, the continent. It sounds heartless, but investing in the future is a must. We have to be real, people. You know what I mean? The Caribbean is a hurricane zone. The Caribbean is a volcanic island zone. Montserrat volcano erupt the whole place. The people have to move. So we have to overstand earthquake, hurricane, volcano. That's the Caribbean. It's a paradise. And as I said, we'll never give up the Caribbean because it's part of the 6th region. But we have to have strategy in terms of knowing that the base is on the continent, that we can have refuge when these things happen. I am one of those doomers, and I see Africa. I see Africa for the diaspora in the Caribbean as the solution. I'd betray my faith if I didn't voice that. Yes, that's Benji. Big up yourself. Germany there. Big up all of the German family. We know there's a Rastafari. Yes, seeing the Google definition now. Let us know, Benji, if is there a big Rastafari community in Germany? Because Germany is going through some serious tribulation right now with their economy. Vibes with the Lion voice. Kentucky checking in. Ras Maisha blessing. Heaven is one of the Greek gods as well as ocean. Connotative and what it denotes is the same. Hence, Sion or Zion. Yes, most Rastafari use the term heavens for the headspace. Yeah, man, our same teachings we get. Righteous work, spiritual mindset, community. These are a few things to help achieve heaven or Zion. What do we prefer? Heaven on earth or Zion on earth? Because of the whole Israel thing, a lot of people don't like the term Zion again or Sion, but how do I them feel about it? Blessing Ras Maisha. Ras Roots, yeah man, I love when the Lion Pride meet and greet, cause of one family. I wasn't arguing what heaven means. I don't think it's required for I and I to agree on its definition. Sion, yes, that's the Ethiopian term for it. Um, the Dinka, Dankil, and Mercy tribes all bow to Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie is not just the king of Christians or Muslims and Jews, but of I and I. I did not know that. See, I need to get them thing that I know some Dinka though, brethren who hail the king. I know at least one brethren. Um, what we agree on because it's a part of our shared reality is earth. Um, Rashina, okay, use some big words. Ray Kia and Asher, what? What that? And Ashi, Mayan, sky and firmament, heaven from Germanic, um, Theophan. Maisha, you're going to some esoteric knowledge there, brother. Global, land, air, sea, Rastafari, Pan-African shipping, yes I. Hebrew and Ge'ez, shamaning, so heaven can be all seen as high. I love the reasoning in the chat. Uh, I am reminded of Haile Selassie addressing the UN in 1963 during the war speech, until all Africans stand and speak as free beings, equal in the eyes of all men as they are in the eyes of heaven. I love it. So these are concepts that were used by the king. So it's not anything that we can dash away. And again, fully agreed, the Aisha and Saad is coming. Maxwell Sheik, I don't know who that is, but me love the reasoning we're going. I love your word sound every time, Brother Kwasi. That's why I'm here at 3 a.m. my time. Okay, give thanks, Samson Benji. I didn't realize the time difference was so dread. I love to hear that you went to Africa leading the way. If you haven't seen the Road to Heaven on Earth series, Samson Benji, take a look. Take a look. All right, I'm gonna leave that there. Big up, hold on, let me see. Ras Roots, never leave I out. Big up yourself, Ras Roots. Blessed love, please help this great online community. Give a super chat, become a Patreon member, hit subscribe. It all comes back around. Give thanks. Let me just take time and big up Ras Roots. Let me leave up that for a little while. This is what we need to build a community. Yes, it's nice to come and watch I and I, but we need to fund and invest in the platform so we can scale the platform. My vision is to build a full studio, Rastafari media operation. My concept and vision is not just to always be in my gates streaming from my yard. You know what I mean? The vision is much bigger. When I was called to the vision, I saw the whole thing. Think about Walt Disney and them big company that has shaped generations with their concepts because of content and media that they produce. Think about all we have in our heavens as Rastafari. If we could properly produce it, package it, and put it out, that's my vision. You know what I mean? Is to create a platform where we can properly package and put out. Right now, we should have Lion Voice correspondents flying by helicopter to the affected areas, not just giving out relief, but interviewing the people, and we creating documentaries. We need a Hurricane Melissa documentary. Who's going to produce it? You know what I mean? So all of these things we can do together. The only way to really be independent is when it's audience supported. So Ras Roots is one of our Patreon members. He's one of our leading members of our Patreon community, and he's been a mighty strength for I and I. I'm going to be announcing our next town hall meeting. We do have town hall meetings in the Patreon where we network, we help each other, we come together, we're building a movement. So consider becoming part of the Patreon. Big up one of the members of Local 12, E.W.F, reached out to I today. I'm a proud member of Local 12. I'm an E.W.F member now. Reached out about the Patreon and how she can become a member. So little by little, I see ones starting to realize the importance of us having our own media and funding our own media. So big up Grassroots, a little $5. And I'm not asking for the item to break your bank, you know what I mean? $5, little $10 here, $10 a month, $5 an episode, $2, $1. It all helps. So big up yourself, Grassroots, by leading by example. And big up all of the Patreon. We have 45 fire angels who have been supporting the mission. We want to grow that to 1,000, but for right now, let's try to hit 50. We're going to start our grant program. We're going to be giving a micro grant to someone doing works in the Rastafari community. We're going to allow our patrons to submit names and we'll vote. And ones can pitch who, and we'll vote. And then whoever gets that, they'll get a small monetary gift from the Lion Voice Network, and we'll interview them about their works. And we'll expand that as we grow the Patreon. We'll expand that. Again, the vision for the platform, we have 57,000 subscribers now. And I know this might not happen until we reach 1 million subscribers, but the vision is that we have a guest on and we get 50,000 people to spend $10 with that guest. You know what that is? That's $500,000 of capital that we put in that guest pocket. Now that guests can scale their business, they can hire staff, they can create a budget for the next 3 years. They can, you know what I mean? We have that ability as a platform. I don't think we overstand the power of media. This is one of the reasons why when Uncle Sam is going to do regime change, they take over the media. This is why Hollywood is so important. You know what I mean? Because Hollywood is how America uses soft power around the world to control the hearts and minds. So media is crucial. Marcus Garvey, the Negro World, you know what I mean? Dr. Du Bois, the crisis, you know what I mean? Media, you know, for those who know. So we have to fund it. So big up all of the Lion Pride. If you can afford to give $5 or $10 a month or even $5 every 2 months. So if you can't afford any money, just watching, we still have tremendous gratitude for the item, for watching. The watch time does help. We do get some money from YouTube. The channel is monetized, so you may see commercials pop up from time to time. That's part of our monetization. So if you can make them run, that also helps the channel as well. So whatever way you can assist, we do give thanks. But just know when you see Iman here, it's not just to do this as a hobby or something what me I do. It's a vision that we have from His Majesty that we're working toward. And the only way I'll achieve that vision is with the help of the collective supporting I and I to achieve that vision. And when I achieve that vision, it'll go lift up thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. So by helping I and I to achieve I vision, it's a vision that's going to help. Because guess what happened now? When Rastafari people have them products and them services, they can come and advertise on the platform to people who are looking for Rastafari content. So it's a win-win scenario. Once we have the audience here that's looking for this type of content, now you have the people who are looking for your Rastafari product or your Pan-African product or service right here. So supporting I and I is supporting the whole family. You know what I mean? So give thanks, Grassroots. Let me put that up again and read that again. Blessed love. Help this great online community. Give a super chat. Become a Patreon member. Hit the like, subscribe. It all comes back around. Give thanks. And I didn't pay Grassroots for do that, you know. I just love to give thanks, my brother. You know what I mean? Give thanks. And Grassroots also has given to the RMO effort, the relief. So big up yourself, Grassroots. Let me put up the RMO. relief again. You can scan it. We'll put it up at the end of the show as well for the hurricane relief. This is 14 mansion and organization coming together under the ban of the RMO to do a relief effort. The goal is 500,000 US. And there are 3 stages. There's a comprehensive plan that's been created that's going to be released soon. Right now, RMO has been circulating the plan to all of the different entities that are working on the ground that are not RMO members, because we're trying to build a unity across the platform. And again, we understand that this is a once in a life opportunity, not to rebuild what was there before, but to rebuild a resilient and dynamic Rastafari, cutting edge, to prepare for the age and the time, getting us up to the time. So we wouldn't just build back, for example, a Naya Bingi Center. It would have to be built back as a Naya Bingi Center with a working farm, with hurricane mitigation, so that the farm can be protected during the storm. With off the grid capabilities. So when the power goes out, you have your industrial generator, you have your solar, whatever but we have to start thinking a different way as we build for the age and for the time. And that is why the number is what it is. So it's a short, mid, long-term goal. So contribute. And again, this is a year's recovery. So we're not going to be just talking about this a couple strong and then hear about it. This is going to be now built into the Lion Voice Network. Because I was born in Jamaica, I can't leave my people. My parents don't have light yet. My parents, them live in Manchester. My parents, them don't have light. You know what I mean? I talked to my father today, and my father said I'm going to live like a bat in a cave because it does darkness. They don't have, have to use candle, all them thing there. So it's serious, family. It's very serious, and we have to do what we can to support. All right, let's get forward to the topic, heaven and earth. But as we're talking about Rastafari, independent, non-aligned media in heaven and earth, we would have to have our own media. We would have to have our own movies, because going to the movies is a nice experience. I love it. But I would love to go to a Battle of Adwa blockbuster film. I would love to see a Thomas Sankara documentary. I would love to see a Steve Biko movie. I would love, and there is one, but you know what I mean? You get the idea. You know what I mean? There's so much history, Mansa Musa history. There's so much a movie about the Orishas, Shango, Oshun, all of them things, the animated movies about all manner of things. This is part of heaven on earth. The eye is African culture, being showcased in its fullness. Think about how nice it was when Black Panther came out in America. If anybody was in America, anywhere around the world as a black man, when Black Panther came out, and everybody feel nice to see Wakanda. Because Wakanda was kind of a conceptual heaven on earth. And to see it on the big screen and make everybody just feel a joy, you know what I mean? So if we had our own Rastafari film studio, which Lion Voice Network, that's what we're trying to evolve it into, we would be able to produce that niceness, upon a massive scale. So that's all part of the heaven on earth, is us investing in each other and manifesting the work to its highest degree. So when we talk about heaven on earth, that has to be the goal. And what I say is perpetual war is hell on earth. So why are we afraid to work toward heaven on earth when the wicked are working toward a state of perpetual war? Because remember, war is one of the biggest money laundering things you can have on the planet. When you buy shot and bomb and them things, there's no one going back and counting if the shot them did buy, if you fire 5 shot or if you did fire 10,000 shot. So Man wash money, put all kind of things on the book. That is a documented thing about war. So perpetual war benefits people, which is why you wonder why in this time the king has come already. The king don't tell the world disarmament, and we were moving in that direction. So why all of a sudden we're in a nuclear arms race? They're testing nuclear. The thing, and the answer is follow the money. War makes money. So if perpetual hell, because war is hell. Anybody who's been in war, the soldiers, and remember, the people who fight in the actual war are not rich and famous. The people who fight in the war are the rural communities. They come from the countryside and the inner cities. These are the people who fight the wars. And any warrior who has been on the battlefield, and I've spoken to many, will tell you that war is hell on earth. So if we have a set of the population that's working to see hell on earth, why are we afraid to say we are working to see Zion on earth or to see heaven on earth? You know? And we think that's not realistic. You know what I mean? Why would we be afraid to set that as the goal when others set war as the goal? So we have to be bold right now. Now is not the time for us to be timid. We have to be bold. We have to be assertive. Because if we don't set that goal and work toward it intentionally, we'll never achieve it. We'll just always be in survival mode, going from disaster to disaster, just barely surviving. We just pull out and then we need help again. And we are not lambs to the slaughter. We're not victims again. We are the lions that come to conquer. We are the lions that come to conquer. Let me say it again. We are the lions that come to conquer. We are not the lamb to the slaughter. So we have to start thinking bigger. His Majesty's speech to the UN, I them know it. He said we must become larger in outlook. You know what I mean? So we have to do better in terms of what our goal is. Our goal cannot just be to survive. You know what I mean? That cannot be the goal. The goal has to be the manifestation of heaven on earth. We want to turn the slums of Africa into garden spaces, into beautiful garden spaces. I'm going to pull up a speech of His Majesty that I believe lays out the vision, or at least the promise from my Majesty that heaven on earth is a reality. So I'm just pulling up this speech here. But in the meantime, I want the item, and then we're going to look at Revelation 21. Ras Benji, Samson Benji recommended that. We're going to look at it because we're looking at this, the underpinning for this concept of heaven on earth and why it needs to be the goal, Zion on earth, Sion. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to call it. We don't want to get caught up in the semantics. We want to agree that we're working toward a restoration of that Edenic state. And the speech I'm looking for is His Majesty's speech at the Accra conference in 1958. So this was a precursor to the the formation of the Organization of African Unity. So it's a serious thing. We are going to pull it up here. Just give me one more second. In the meantime, if you have any other recommendations of things that we can look at around this concept of heaven on earth, put them in the chat if we have time, because I'm going to seal up at 10. If we have time, we'll take a look at them. because I want us as the Lion Pride to hug up this concept, because it don't mean that everybody have to be on board, because a chosen few. So if we have a critical mass of I that are working toward most major change, it was not done with no whole heap of everybody around the place. It's a chosen few do the work, and then everybody else catches up. You know what I mean? So if we have a critical mass, and that critical mass could be 10,000, you know what I mean? It don't have to be 3 or 4. You know what I mean? So um, we just need a chosen few to accept that goal of the manifestation of heaven on earth, and to work intentionally to see its manifestation. Kwasi, the Kwaku Ando Sustainability Institute, as I said, is an example. It's a 5-acre campus, completely off the grid. It's working toward a food sovereign situation with the food forest and the working farm, and all of that is in place there. So it's a model to show how we can hold space in a way that allows us to be self-sustaining, which is part of the heaven. All right, so I found the speech, and this is one of the seminal speeches that I block, you know what I mean? This is one of the seminal speeches that I block as Rastafari. Let me share my screen here. Hold on 1 second. And please forgive I. My queen is usually the producer, but she is taking a course, so she's not here. So it's just I, man. So anytime you see the thing go rocky, when you see me just call out thing and things that pop up and the thing nice, you know, so the queen dead about. But when you see I, man, by herself, you know, it take a little bit more time, you know what I mean, for me to manifest the fullness. All right. Let me see. The item can see that. All right. All right. I want to read this. This is His Majesty laying out his vision that Africa will be that heaven on earth. His Majesty said, but, and this is the 1958 speech, the Accra conference. But dwarfing even man's material achievements in the 20th century has been the emergence of peoples all over the world into freedom and independence. So part of that heaven on earth is being free and independent. Today, for the first time, men everywhere to whom freedom and independence were but a short time ago only words, and for whom economic and political self-determination were no more than far distant goals, have achieved the status of free men and are directing their efforts and energies toward their own advancement. We are particularly gratified and proud of this development has been so marked and widespread on the great continent of Africa. And this is the part here that I want everyone to etch into their soul. Who is a lion pride? As a lion pride, I can't control everyone, but lion pride people will love I and know where we're taking this thing. This is the one we want. Etching on your soul. His Majesty said, Africa will no longer be the unknown continent, for its human and material resources are beyond measure. And this great continent now stands on the verge of an economic, political, and cultural development, which, when realized, will be without parallel in history. So when he says without parallel in history as an Orthodox Telayino Christian, history include Eden, history include Atlantis, history include You name the great civilization and the wonderful Babylon and the Hanging Gardens, Kemet at its height. So His Majesty said that Africa stands on the verge of a development which, when realized, is going to exceed all of them. Something there. This is heaven on earth. And if you notice when His Majesty talking, he always talking about raising the standards of living of the people. So if you continue to raise up the standard of living to the people, what happens? You manifest that heavenly realm. Got everyone irie, everyone full. You bring everyone out of poverty. You take the Ethiopian from a peasant into a citizen. You know what I mean? You give them education, they can think for themselves, make decisions for themselves, even the decision and the ability to fail, which is important. Because heaven don't mean there's no failure there. Because failure is part of learning. So that don't mean, say, again, as I say, heaven doesn't mean the absence of challenges. That's a Western Christian kind of concept where you go heaven and you kick up your foot and that wouldn't be irate to I and I, because that would encourage sloth and laziness and there would be no innovation. You just kick up and you're dead because you're dead and you do it. No, that's not heaven to I and I. Heaven includes a challenge, includes the overcoming of the challenge, includes perpetual progress. Let us put that in our vocabulary. Perpetual progress. Heaven. Every day we make a little bit more progress. That is heaven to I and I. You know what I mean? So, very serious when we talk about heaven. So, to I, that is the underpinning of heaven as it relates to His Majesty. So if His Majesty wasn't, and His Majesty also talks about after the war that the angels, he talks about the celestial realm. You have to look for those speeches, but it's there. So His Majesty endorsed this concept of heaven on earth and not waiting until you die to live your best life, as the young people would say. I want to share, we're going to go through Revelation 21, which was recommended by Samson Benji as one of the things that he thinks about when we bring up this concept of heaven on earth. All right, so let's read Revelation. It says, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." This is also a foundation Ras Tafari passage. "And I, John, saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down from the Almighty out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband." As a young Ras, I always interpreted this as that New Jerusalem coming down from the Almighty out of heaven, as that concept coming from inside a man and being manifested in the physical space, because we know everything is within I and I. You know what I mean? That's how I used to interpret that and still do interpret that. "And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Almighty is with men, and He shall dwell with them, and they shall be His people, and the Almighty Himself shall be with them, and be their Almighty. And the Almighty shall wipe away all the tears from their eyes." One of my favorite Naya Biggie chant. "And there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And He that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. And He said unto I, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And He said unto I, It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the beginning and without end. I am the Alpha and Omega. I am the beginning without end. These are Nyabingi chants. I know he lives forevermore. You know what I mean? So we give thanks. I will give unto him that is athirst the fountain of water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his almighty, and he shall be my son. But the fearful, unbelieving, the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire, brimstone, and which is the second death. And there shall come unto I of the seven angels which had seven vials full of the seven last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will shew ye the bride, the Lamb's wife. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and shewed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God, having the glory of the Almighty, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal, and had a high wall. And this is the thing too, because as we build in Africa with all type of new building materials and eco-friendly, and some of these precious stone, gold, diamond, some of these are building materials, you know what I mean? If you make a road out of some of these stone, you don't have to patch no pothole. So the future could have some of these things, you know what I mean? A great high wall had 12 gates, and at the gates, I have a song that I wrote about this. So this is one of the seminars. On the east, 3 gates, and on the north, 3 gates, and on the south, 3 gates, and on the west, 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And he that talked with I had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. And the city lie 4 square, and the length is as large as the breadth. And he that measured the city with the reed 12,000 furlongs, and the length and the breadth and the heights of it are equal. And he measured the wall thereof 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man, that is of the angel. And the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like unto clear glass. So right now, a lot of gold being hoarded. And in ancient Ethiopia, when you read the conquest of Abyssinia, the invasion of Imad Gran, you see they had churches that were fully gold plated, 50-foot tall church, gold plated. The Muslims burned these churches down to the ground, and they said that every man that went on that jihad left wealthy, And summertime they would take out so much gold and jewels that it was too much. They just burned it because it was too much. They couldn't carry it all out. They had nowhere to put all of this. So these things are written, in Ethiopia. So as Africans, we know about building with these precious metals. We have a history of that. A lot of that has been lost because they've been looted over time. I mean, you see it in Kemet when they go into the Pharaoh tombs, all of these things. So these things are not far-fetched, building a city with these precious materials. This is lengthy. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Well, let me just seal up this last part. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. So you don't need these structures to give praises. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of the Almighty did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor unto it. And the gates of it shall not be shut by day, for there shall be no night there. No night in a Zion, there is no night there. So I see at least 5 or 6 Nyabingi chant from this one passage of Revelation. So the Asians call them what you may, but they were, they had certain little wisdom where them put in this thing where we see is a reality. And the gates of it shall not be shut by day, for there shall be no night there. And they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it, and there shall be no wise enter into it anything that defile it, neither whatsoever work it abomination, nor make it a lie. But they which are written in the Lamb's book of life, is your name written in the Lamb book of life? You must ask yourself that question, is your name written there? So many Nyabingi chants come out of that Revelation 21. But again, when we talk about heaven on earth, this episode is about refocusing us. In the midst of the disaster, it's easy to just become reactive and let each calamity haul and pull you, but we need to come forward to the basics of what gave this movement the power. You know what I mean? Ras Maisha, what did I say? Where the Ark of the Covenant there, and just say, I and I must keep all I and I treasure in I and I heart. But yeah, and Ethiopia have the Ark of the Covenant. So these are foundation. What I'm saying to Foundation Rastafari is nothing new, is nothing astonishing. But we're just laying out and reordering ourselves in the midst. Because, like I say, it's easy to just become reactive and have events haul and pull us and forget our divine purpose in this hour. This is the Armageddon that we chanted about. We say Rastafari wind no blow east, Rastafari wind no blow west, and it sound like a judgment morning. So when the hurricane wind blow down and you get up and you see the judgment morning, why should we be surprised or shell shocked? I and I have to rise and know, say, all right, we're throwing off the fleshical, we're rising into our divine self. Because we as Rastafari told the world in our music, in our chants, in our sound about this hour. So when this hour is upon us, this is our time to rise and shine. You know what I mean? This is our time to rise and shine. So I'm going to leave the item with that. Before I leave, for those who just joined us, I want to just play this update from Osa Siba again. We had, if you didn't see the episode we had with Bongo James on Wednesday, we had our first Hurricane Melissa update. Since that, Bongo James traveled to Osa Siba and to Pit 4 Nyabingi Center with some relief. They're also doing mapping and assessment, gathering names and finding out where people are. How is this person? How is that person? Where them there? What are their needs? There are a few WhatsApp groups that have been created. I see the list coming in of people being cataloged. Spreadsheet is being created of that, so that we can have a systematic way to service our people, because any movements, we have to know where our people are. We have a lot of people say, boy, a CIA thing and rate thing, but guess what happened, family? If you have a smartphone, CIA don't know where you're there. So the only person that you're hiding from is from your own family, don't know where you're there or what you do. So the time now where we in the shadows have to end. As I say, we're putting on a royal Ethiopian garment, and we are linking up with each other so that we can respond and we can be responsive to the Armageddon as the troubles arise. So let me put this, we're going to watch this update, and then we're going to put it up, and then we're going to seal. But this is the church family.
Yeah, this is House of Siba right here. Just coming from trying to get to where now.
And I want, and I listen to the elder when he talks about the judgment
devastation
in relation
that
to the
we
whole
are
King
rebelling from. But
and being
it's
disobedient.
not a pity party
It's a
for
Naya
us.
Bingi
House of Siba, not a
reasoning,
pity party.
but
It's a
your
reality,
reasoning.
nonetheless. But
Let me
we are
just
in
rewind.
rebellion mode.
Bongo James has said some
Brother
critical
Spicer.
stuff. And a rewind.
Yeah, this is House of Siba right here. Just coming from trying to get to where now back here. This is the devastation that we're rebelling from. But it's not a pity party for us. House of Siba, not a pity party, but it's a reality nonetheless. But we are in rebuilding mode. Just spoke with brother Spicer, and also gave a donation to as well,
Look at the
because we have the elders
devastation.
them
House of Siba was vibrant.
who are
In
here,
Somalia,
who
I
need
didn't
food,
like, wow,
food
all
supply.
of that
Yes,
work.
we need the building supplies, because as Ras Spicer say, if we can stabilize the minds of ones and ones to have a home, then they can more participate in the recovery effort on a collective basis. And that makes sense. Once a man know if you put him food, put him clothes where him get as donation, then him gonna know how to participate in whatever collective engagement involving the centers, involving the various, so it is important that we try and really get ones and ones in a stable position as quickly as possible, so that they can be able to, with all good conscience, participate in the collective efforts that we have to rise again, as you would say. Greetings, my brother.
Listen to this elder.
We're passing through. Just start to Brother Spicer a while ago.
This represents
Yeah.
regional essence
Same way, brother.
of the church.
Aziz, okay.
Keep the ways. That now you see there, if you keep the ways of the Emperor Haile Selassie, ways and his ways, and of his ways and the ways of the Christ, enter into the kingdom of the Most High. And I have to practice his father way, because for I 199 and 790. If I now live good on the land, it will destroy our food, our children, and all these things. Yes. Disobedient. Yes. So remember the story they got M's. Seeing the M's, that is say I and I wear M's like first. Seeing from the M of the garment blue. That's why police wear blue. That is see, because blue is a power, That is see, so the feeling to remind the eye of his commandment. But the other one now practice that. That is see, so that's why his father have to show and I in his own way that he is the I am forever and forever. See, between I and I, his people, there is so
and say when you catch it the right way, it's like that sun coming over the hill, It's like a brightness in your spirit, when you catch it, It's when you catch it, the commandment no longer feel like a rebuke, but a comfort.
Yeah, because the Father said, man shall not be the covered ark of the covenant upon his shoulder no more, but his heart and his heart. So just put the presence of God in the eye. Because said you have to worship the true and living God, The Father, the first. Also, David, they can't serve no other gods. But in, there I see, can know himself and say, I have lost none of my children.
Yeah, see, because we want people, you know. But just let us go and see what they do, the Tower of Babel. But no nation different from no other. Because everyone use the bathroom, everyone.
All right. So there you have it. We're gonna seal up now, but I just again want to reiterate this concept of heaven on earth is nothing pie in the sky. We're not talking about clouds in heaven. We're not talking about a place where there's no problems and no. Even when we read Revelation 21, it said there shall be no pain and all these things. It don't mean you're not gonna drop and buck your toe. It don't mean say you might not feel sad, but the pain in terms of the oppression, the pain that arises from wickedness and these things will no longer be there. You know what I mean? We remove all of those things, but life is going to still happen in our concept of heaven, the African concept of heaven. But that is what we're working for, is that Edenic situation, a place where you don't have to look at trash on the street, a place where it's in harmony with nature, a place where fruit trees are everywhere abundant, a place where, prosperous. Every man, every woman is living in their purpose. Everyone is passionate about what they're doing. And people are loving and generous and kind. And we're building with eco-friendly building materials. We're not, the wildlife is balanced with mankind. We are a strength. We are part of the earth, not a cancer on the earth. This is our heaven on earth, and we have to continuously chant it, define it, and make plans to achieve it, and to achieve it sustainably. So we don't want to just have heaven when we come together with gatherings and then we have to leave those gatherings and go forward and work in Babylon and we stress out. We want to be within our reality all the time, just like how the wicked in Babylon are in their reality all the time, living a nice life with all of their ill-gotten gains. We want to be prosperous off of our righteousness, off of living our purpose. This is our heaven, and it starts with supporting each other. It starts with being intentional. Again, if you feel like you're in a rut, start by cleaning up your room. Look around your space. Is it cluttered? Is your space? One of the great things that you can do, my wife just looked at me and say, "Hey, you better clean up your place." And it's such a factual thing. When you clean your space is one thing. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like you need to change and you don't know what to do, start just in your space, clean up the space. You know what I mean? Make up your bed when you wake up in the morning. Do some exercise. Control the things that you can about in your personal, and you start to manifest, change your frequency. Everything else around you is going to start to vibrate in that order, once you focus in on self. So there are things that we can do. Big up all of the Lion Pride. Again, we're at 57,000. Don't watch the 57,000. The number to watch is 45. We're at 45 in the Patreon. We need to get that to 50, family. I really kind of feel a little way that we haven't been able to hit 50 in so long. And if we get 5 people on board, we're supposed to hit the 50 now. I'll let the item know, because we sometimes people leave the Patreon and they come forward. So right now, I think we're a little less than 45. I have to check. But I don't watch that, because those people sometimes they will come back, depending how it's an automatic payment on the account. So sometimes people might not have the funds available at the time, and then it will come again. And when that happens, it doesn't show me how many people are there. But we need to get to 50 people in the Patreon, and look away that we're over 57,000 and we only have 45 paid subscribers. In my creative ecosystem model, and I do consultations as well. In my creative industry model, a mature ecosystem has 1,000 paid subscribers. That with 1,000 paid subscribers, you can be full time and operate within your business full time, and that's the goal for us to be full time. Remember, I have a full time job still, and even though we post every day and we treat this like a full time job, because to get to that, you have to treat it that way. It does need the item strength. So if you can, and if you can't, you're not in the position, don't worry. I'm not talking to the item. I'm talking to my family, the 100 of my family where I know watch every episode that lock in with I and I. I'm talking to those ones. Just now is the time. If you're thinking about when is the time to support the Patreon, now is the time. We need to get it above 50, and then we're gonna work to get it above 100. But we need the item to invest in Rastafari independent non-aligned media. I think we can do it. I have a huge vision to fulfill, but again, it will not happen without the audience, and that's why I wait patiently for His Majesty to put it in the item hearts. Come and know the people are there, Ras Roots, Johnny Johnson, some of our Ubuntu, some of our Lion Pride and Patreon have convinced I that the like minds are there. And also, let me say this, and I'll seal with this. If you're looking for a community of like mind, serious people, the Patreon is a good space because we reason about things in our town hall meetings, we network. I know people have gotten business, people get referrals. I mean, the Patreon, them link up is a nice group of serious people. So anyone who's gonna give their money every month to the platform already has vetted themselves as being someone who's gonna go above and beyond. So when you're in that Patreon community, as Ras Roots say, you're gonna be in good company. So join us and join a community of like mind. Now is not the time to be a lone lion or lioness. It's Armageddon, organize and centralize. And if the item feel that Rastafari independent non-aligned media is important, then please join with I and I so that we can make this thing powerful. We're gonna see our true power when we have control over our media. I'm telling the item that, and Lion Voice Network is gonna be a key pillar in that reality when the time comes. So join us so we can continue to bring high quality. Also tomorrow, 2 p.m., we are going to South Africa. Abba Alamayu is going to be our guest tomorrow at 2 p.m., 9 p.m. South Africa time. We're talking about the African evolution of Rastafari. Put it on your calendar. We will be going live with South Africa. So we're not going to stop, family. We're going to continue to bring high level, high frequency Rastafari vibration. Why? Because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion's Voice.
And the lioness to tell your own story. This is the lion's voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use a yet an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the lion's voice.
This is Mama Thea of Asli Pure, and when I want to hear the story from the lion and the lioness, I listen to Lion Voice with Ras Bonsu.
Greetings, this is Ras Shiloh. The time has come for the lions to tell their own story. See? This is the lion's voice. Keep it locked, right, sir? Ras Shiloh said that. Are you satisfied? Wipe those tears from your eyes. I'm all alone, still you thought I was telling a lie. This is the lion's voice. Keep it locked, right, sir?
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the Lion's Voice.
Yes, job people, this is Michael Shamai representing. I will say, hear the lion voice, saying it is time for the lions and the lionesses to tell their own story. King David killed Goliath with a stone, we original dread.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Ras Tafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice. Ras Tafari.
Alright, listen to me now, people. The lion roar, no dog bark. See? The lion's voice with Kwasi Bonsu. Time right now for the lion to tell his story. See? Listen up.
Haile.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lion's voice. Now put it, I Jollifer said that.
Yeah, now the time has come for the lion to tell his own story. Yeah, the one them called Selassie represent for the mighty lion voice. And this a shook up your planet tectonic. As me sip up my roots and tectonic. And you can't make me jump nor get panic. Have the engine a run like mechanic. Room.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Yeah, David Dread of Steel Person. I'm saying hail to the lion voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Oh, yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.